union
When in the course of human events,
since we spoke at the beginning lecture in this online course, you have fought your way through the Civil War and the Progressive Era. And if that won't get a fellow down, I don't know what will. Sometimes things seem hopeless, don't they? But I myself do not think so. And there are some reasons for that. One of them is the Constitution of the United States is still largely intact. There's actually one part of it that I would change. I would get rid of the direct election of senators and restore authority to the states over the Senate. I think it's not the end of the world if that doesn't happen, but it would be good. And then another thing is, the Declaration of Independence is still beautiful. And both the Constitution and the Declaration can be read. And then the people who wrote them, it can be explained what they thought. What were they thinking? And that means that, they're in the past. And the past is something that can't be changed. It's always there for us to look at if we want to. We don't much believe these days in looking at the past. It's only the future now. And if you think about that for a minute, that too is silly, because the future is obscure and the present is fleeting. What if there's something great to learn from the past? And we human beings have always been called to that, and that has not gone away. It won't go away. You are watching this course, for example. We who teach the course and our students, we have been studying these things intensely for most of our lives. And they call to us. America, say the people who founded it, is an experiment. Lincoln, who continued the experiment with profound effect, he agreed with Jefferson about this. The experiment has to be repeated in every age. In our age, I think the question is this: are we going to think that because modern science, which is the great authority in this day and age, is so sophisticated that if we can just apply that to human society, we can perfect the society? That's a claim. You've heard about that when you've studied the Progressive Era. The idea is made that if we just bring the scientific method, scientific public policy, to bear on public problems, we can fix them all. Well, the trouble with that is, what are we going to do? I mean, us ordinary people, if everything is taken care of. Winston Churchill, whom I study and urge you to study, a very great man, he made a lot of hay out of a statement by a junior minister in the first socialist government ever in Britain, which beat him to get in 1945. And there's a junior minister named Mr. Douglas J. And the quote runs roughly like this: "Mothers don't always know what's best for their children. The gentleman in Whitehall," that means the equivalent, Washington, D.C. Whitehall is the expression for the place where the British government operates. "The gentlemen in Whitehall know better." That means they know better than how you're to raise your child. But if you're not fit to be a parent, if common sense and love can't guide you in that, as it has guided people with wide success, almost overwhelming success, for all of human history, what is there actually left for us to do? If every job is created by the government, if every ripple in the economy and in the news is the responsibility of somebody who holds his appointment by his expertise, how do we get to be human? We learn in the college business that kids learn themselves. We teach, and many of my colleagues are very good at it. But it doesn't matter how good they are. The kid has to work. It's hard to learn. You have to give yourself to it. It's like athletics. You've got to get your mind right, and you've got to live right to really be good at that. You see, that means the achievement is in them, and it can't be anywhere else. And that means that's good, right? That means they're human. They have something important to do, and it cannot be done for them. Well, I think the understanding of that in our nature, something deeper than in our bones, I think the understanding of that is the reason why centralized bureaucratic government is unpopular everywhere in the world where it operates. And it does operate almost everywhere in the world now, from China across America to Europe and back, right? Almost all of the governments are now making detailed, unreadable rules at the center. And that's about a 150-year-old phenomenon. It isn't liked anywhere. And I think it's dangerous myself because I think the principles on which it's built are rotten. But more, just remember what Madison said. This is a final thought. He said, if men were angels, no government would be needed. They're not angels. If angels were to govern men, neither internal nor external controls on the government would be necessary. The people who govern us are not angels any more than we are. We ought to do two things. We ought to seek to restore the limits and the poise and the balances in the government. And the second is, we ought to think we can do that because it's the right thing to do. And surely, always, the right thing can be done.